Hi everyone. Goddess of Radical Self-Love and
The Conscious Queen.
we are Mecca. Make everyone count always. We are a support network for radical self-love and self-care with focused attention on care receivers and caregivers. When our community's most vulnerable care receivers and those who care for them, caregivers, feel supported and valued, we all can rest assured we feel supported and valued as well. So today is
World Juvenile Arthritis Day.
the first ever. Yay, we get a day all to ourselves. Woohoo! So, even though this is Master Manifestation Mondays, right? Magic Mondays, we are going to talk a bit about juvenile, systemic, I can't even say it, idiopathic, right? Is it still JRA?
No.
It's idiopathic.
Yeah.
Arthritis, JRA. So it's idiopathic.
It's JIA.
JIA. Sorry, they changed all the terminology and I had just grown up with it for so long. I mean,
Yes.
she did, but
Me too.
I mean, obviously I did for a while and then it switched and so did you.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into the manifestations after we discuss JIA. And we also, part of that, the manifestations and magic that we're going to use, one of our tools, has to do with helping arthritis. So arthritis sufferers. So do you want to tell us a little bit about JIA and what it is?
Yes. Sorry. I have to look at it.
Well, you know what JIA is, right?
Yes. So JIA is juvenile idiopathic arthritis. Juvenile obviously means kids, but JIA affects anyone under the age of 16 who was diagnosed under 16. And idiopathic means the cause is unknown, so we don't know where it came from. And
however, there is presumably a link between genes being triggered.
yeah, so most of the time arthritis is triggered, or JIA is triggered from a stressful event towards the body. So,
for instance, how old were you when you were diagnosed with, at the time, JRA, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and now it's JIA?
I was 6 months old when I was diagnosed, because I was in a really bad accident. And at the scene, they presumed that nothing was wrong with me.
So the car accident was so bad that 2 people actually passed away, and the entire car load of people you were with were all severely injured as well. And so basically that day you were crying for the first time ever. I know it's surprising. She never cried when she was a baby. She was a perfect baby. Yes, she was. And then after the car accident, she basically never stopped crying. And you broke out into hives.
Mm-hmm.
And
projectile vomiting, and
I can't hear you.
And projectile vomiting, and like a temperature of 103
above,
right?
Yeah,
and above.
So it was like 103 to 107. And we kept bringing her back into the hospital every single day. And one of our doctors thought she had Kawasaki's disease and did a couple treatments for that, knew it wasn't that, and then they admitted her for a 4-month stay into Children's in Minneapolis, where they finally diagnosed her with, at the time, systemic. Well, she still has systemic, but
Or
stills as an adult. So, do you still have JIA?
Yes.
Laurel, down. As an adult?
Yes. JIA never goes away. Though people with JIA can go into remission. So, and come out of remission. So I know plenty of people who have gone and stayed in remission. And I've known people who have came out of remission. So whether that be one joint coming back with arthritis, that can still mean you're out of remission.
So when you're talking about some people having one joint, with your type of arthritis, systemic, what does that mean compared to somebody who only has arthritis affecting one joint?
So my arthritis systemic is the organs and joints. So that means
Total body.
Total body.
So there's kind of like, whether you have one joint or a total body, there's still a scale.
Yes.
So some people, even if it's only one joint or your total body, could have it easier or worse than somebody else, right?
Yes.
Like if somebody else has systemic, they could be in somewhat healthier or not have as many chronic physical effects. Yeah. Okay. So, do you know about how many children are affected with JIA?
About 300,000 children are affected by JIA in the United States.
300,000?
Yep.
And how many new cases per year do you think? I think I saw 10,000 new cases a year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. And then actually some really interesting facts that we found out, well, just recently, is the amount of rheumatologists, because when you have JIA, that's who you're going to see, a rheumatologist. And it was actually kind of mind-blowing that the shortage of rheumatologists. So again, with more research and others becoming interested in this line of work, we would really appreciate more rheumatologists across the country. There's pediatric rheumatologists. There's fewer than 400 board-certified practicing pediatric rheumatologists right now. As a result of this shortage, only 25% of children with arthritis are getting the care and treatment that they need. What is the treatment like?
Well, it depends on your case, I'd say. So mine has been really difficult because I've basically gone through every medications out there besides like 2 or 3 of them. I think my adult rheumatologist said that I just switched to. So
starting as an infant,
yes,
you tried all of the medications people are using today.
Yep.
Before that they were ever available on the market.
Such as methotrexate and Remicade.
So what do those types of medications? So when we're dealing with arthritis, or at least your type, right? It's the immune system is kind of turning on itself.
Yeah.
So when you are pairing that with these medications that also lower your immune system, what happens?
You'll get sicker. I mean, it's landed me in the hospital multiple times. just because your immune system is suppressed. So, making it easier for you to get sick. So, whether that's an infection or the flu, I mean, a simple cold can land people with JIA in the hospital just because of the treatment plan and the disease.
So I know a lot of people think it's kind of crazy when I would say when you were a baby that, well, and beyond, that you were getting chemotherapy for your arthritis. People were very shocked. Is this a typical treatment?
Yes, there are almost everybody I know with JIA are on these type of biologics, they call them. So like the methotrexate and Remicade, but it is different from people with cancer.
Well, the doses might be different, but
Yeah,
how your body actually responds to it are similar.
Yeah.
I know, like, when you were younger and we had you on methotrexate, it made you incredibly sick. And I fought it for a long time and actually was forced into giving you something I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
So it's really important that parents have a very good relationship with their rheumatologist, and especially since, as we heard, there's only 400 or fewer than 400 rheumatologists. It's kind of hard to do if you are not on the same, mind frame as one of your physicians. And actually, since you've been off of methotrexate, you've done a lot better.
Yeah.
So Mama kind of knows something. I'm just saying. And that's obviously not for every child, but if as a caregiver you're seeing signs and symptoms of a worsening of a condition, then you should definitely be able to speak up and have your thoughts and wishes valued.
Yeah.
So it helps when you have an education and background that can support your theories as well, as I found, which is what I had to do in order to be heard. So, yes. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Where can people find this information about how these issues affect their state? Where is this from, this resource? Here it is.
I got multiple sources. So the first one is from arthritis.org, and then another one is
I did want to read this. The mental health impact too, and economic burdens, just because we did really face a lot of challenges, but especially for caregivers. I mean, obviously this is a day for you, but it also should be a day for the caregivers as well, who spend 70% of the care with their care receiver.
Yeah.
So, it has been found that there are high rates of depression in children with JIA as compared to those without. And why do you think that would be?
A lot of reasons. So, I mean, the biggest is isolation, obviously, because we're not able to go out and participate in normal activities such as an average person would be able to participate in.
Such as like going on a trip with your friends and them feeling like they might have to be your caregivers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely the isolation is a big problem for care receivers, because sometimes you guys are even looked at differently, right?
Yep.
And how does that like emotionally play for you?
It's very hard. I mean, it's just, it's very lonely a lot of times. So,
And I think as a caregiver too, because not only do you want to see your child making peer relations and
yeah.
being part of their community, but you also have to see them struggling with things outside of their disease in some ways that are definitely mental health issues, and that caregivers as well can become isolated because, well, we're always spending time together, and you know, it's, we want to be your best friend, not only because we want to make sure you're supported, but we don't want to leave you alone, and you understand and I understand the situation in a different way than others do, so it does become isolating for both of us, especially when the caregiver is at home. So what else? Oh yes. Right. The economic burdens. 53% of parents of JIA cases reported an increase in the number of missed work hours for the period covering the year before and the year after their child's diagnosis. Parents of children with JIA were 2.7 times more likely to report work time loss than parents having no children with JIA. Parents of children without JIA arthritis were 64% less likely to experience work time loss than parents with JIA. Only 32% of the parents of children without JIA reported a work time loss. Between 2000 and 2009, parents who had a child with JIA lost an average of $4,500 a year due to missed work. Parents who had no children with JIA who lost an estimated of $2,000 during the same period. School functioning among adolescents with primary pain conditions. Poor school functioning and school quality of life, miss more school days, more visits to the nurses than healthy adolescents. I think both of those are really good to talk about because, for one, my experience as a caregiver having an infant diagnosed was extremely difficult to keep a job. I was really good and I'm really good at my work. I love working. I love being a part of a team. But when your child goes to the hospital, you kind of got to go with them. So, you know, the first time I would miss work, everybody would send flowers and cards, and the next time I would lose my job. So it was really hard to stay within the regulations of the law, having to be there for an entire first year before those laws would kick in for medical reasons of leave for the Family Act, right? And so I never could even actually make it to a full year because you were always in the hospital, and you were actually raised, I would say probably about half the year you spent in the hospital every year. So how did that affect your education?
It affected it like really hard. Especially like some grades were more affected than others, such as where I'd be, like you said, half of a year. I'd say there were a couple more that I missed more than half.
I can't hear you very well, sorry. Yeah. Um, Yeah, there were a couple of years you did miss more than half, and then I ended up holding you back in third grade. And then how did high school go? I mean, I know we're skipping some major parts. We'll talk about the bullying right after this. I know this is taking a while longer than I thought, but that's okay because you're with it. So are all my JA family.
High school was, I mean, it was difficult with the peers, but once I was able to get the tools I needed to be able to focus on my education, then I was able to get A's and B's besides my freshman year where I was sick almost a full semester and I had teachers fail me out of the class.
So wait a second. You were gone in the hospital for a couple months, right?
Yep.
And teachers actually failed you out of your classes in your freshman year.
Yep.
So it took a long time and a lot of hard work to finally get those F's that were not earned off of your record, right?
Yep.
In order to raise your GPA where it should have been, right? How long did it take?
It actually didn't. I only got one off.
We got two off, and they left the D.
All right, yeah. And so it made it really difficult to get into the college I wanted to get into then.
Until they would raise it to what you earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was an AB student after that first year. So, I mean, any of my teachers would say that.
So how important is it to have an individual education program, IEP, and to have instructors or teachers who are on board with your care and understanding the accommodations?
What?
How important is it to have an IEP and to have teachers who understand why you need those accommodations?
I think an IEP is essential for specifically JIA people because 504s, which is another individual plan, can't really help in the way that JIA patients need. So you can specifically have
really anybody with a real chronic condition that experiences a loss of school time being present in school should really have an IEP.
Yep. Because I was such a good student, my teachers understood what I needed and they listened to me, I self-advocated after a while after my mom taught me how to, and I believe that's one of the main goals every child should have, especially with a chronic illness.
Self-advocacy.
Yes.
So going from that, we're not going to go into your college experience. We'll save that for another time because that's a whole... I just wanted to touch really quick on the bullying aspect. Yeah. I know it's going to be hard to talk about, but I think it's really important. Not just obviously for you, but what was your experiences or some of them with bullying? If you could talk about it a little bit.
Well, in 5th grade, I had received a lot of bullying where it was more cyberbullying. So it was more through text, and I would receive them, and the school wouldn't do anything about it. I mean, we were in 5th grade then, and I believe no child should be talking like that in the first place at that age. But it was really hard after everything I had gone through the year before, and I was at home recovering from surgery when I had received the text.
So I think it kind of goes along, well, we actually ended up having a news story on it, which Orion, or the Conscious Queen, was not very pleased with me for doing, but you do realize how important it was now, right? And we still even have some friends who reached out from us from that town, because in that town, there was such a high rate of bullying that people actually would have to move away. So we helped a bit with that part of it, but I do think the most important thing about what we learned is creating that family in your community. So people who really can support you and see you for what an amazing individual you are and how much value you do bring to our communities, not just you obviously, but all of our care receivers. And I mean, I think every single one of your friends, I mean, they're all so, they're driven and like motivated to do the right thing, and they are all huge advocates and for themselves and for spreading the education about arthritis and all the things that they go through, all the triumphs and tribulations of living with a chronic disease. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you and them for really just always seeing the future, even when you're like in a hospital bed in pain, you know, like making plans on how you can really add value to our communities, and always reaching out for everybody else who's in need of a friend and who feels isolated. I know that, you know, you are constantly doing that with your friends, and I just think it's so beautiful, and I wish that we all could be like you guys. So they really are superheroes. And then
there is like places where for kids with arthritis where we don't feel as isolated, such as camp, where I went to for 6 years.
I'm gonna grab a Kleenex quick. Go ahead.
Where I went to for 6 years, and I have been a volunteer now for, this will be my 4th year. But there's like, I believe there's 50 of them across the whole country. So
it's Camp MASH, right?
Well, the one I go to is Camp MASH. Okay. But there's different ones. If you have a child with JAA, you can find them on the arthritis.org page.
And the camps would be a great way for, if you guys want to donate and be involved, the camps are a really good place to donate, because especially with the one that you go to right now, Camp MASH, Make Arthritis Stop Hurting in Wisconsin Dells, you're kind of your founder. And was she kind of a founder, or was she just? So she was like the largest what is it called? Benefactor? You're the beneficiary, so she was the largest donator. And since she has now,
she just passed away at 92. couple months ago. So,
There you go.
so can't manage, like, we rely on donations. The kids actually, or the kids or their parents, actually, they all get scholarships, or most of them do. And
And that's a really important aspect
yes.
of it because, like I said earlier, when we talked about the economic burdens of being a parent of a child who has this type of a chronic condition, there's no way I could have afforded to send you on a camp for days,
Yeah.
almost a week, right?
Yep.
So it's very important that we all do what we can to support. It is like where you found your crew, your posse. You know, they are still friends today, and many of the campers are now volunteers and are the camp counselors. Obviously, they know the most about it, and they really do need your support as much as possible. So a little bit from each one of you can go a long way.
Yep.
So with that said, we're going to go on to manifestation for the magic manifestation. And today we're going to talk about green calcite. I'll bring it up. Yes, we are wearing green today in support of our JIA National Day, and green calcite also can support those who suffer with arthritis as well. So green calcite, I like to meditate with it, put it in my bath. You can put it in your purse. You can put it under your pillow. There's all kinds of ways that you can work with this beautiful crystal. It's a journey of self-discovery and acceptance of yourself, embracing all your imperfections. Laurel's getting into trouble. Flaws are what make you unique. Embrace them and turn them into strengths. A renewed sense of purpose brings more meaning into your life, balance in your body, mind, heart, and spirit. Vitality and enthusiasm, fueled by energy and eagerness, dissolves old belief systems, habits, and patterns. Move on to newer, fresher, and timelier ones. Radiates calming, soothing energies and removes any stagnant energy from the environment, transforms a negative or boring environment into a positive one, regulates and improves blood pressure, helps in the recovery after a heart attack, acts as a purifier and cleanser for the body, helps to strengthen bones and joints for the very physically active, helps relieve symptoms of arthritis and to treat bacterial infections, inflammation, joint pains, burns, and even nervous tics, supports and strengthens immune system and eases intestinal or skin conditions. So I had a whole thing for the full moon manifestations, but this has taken quite a while to talk about how amazing our arthritis heroes are. So I'm going to leave that, but remember on the 20th and 21st this week, we do have a full moon in Libra, so this is a great time to use your manifestational powers by creating vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give us some more? What else can we do?
Write them down. You can even just say it out to the world so they know that you are wanting the, what is it called?
Your intentions?
Or, yeah, sorry. So they know your intentions of what you are needing or wanting from the world.
Good job. Meditation is also a wonderful way to do your manifestation intentions, and working with something like a green calcite can definitely help you as well. And remember that this Libra full moon can bring in a lot of subconscious aspects as well, which can create I versus we. And we want to stay manifesting for the we. And I really do want to say that at this point in my life, I have everything that I could ever dream of. I'm fully happy in my life and so thankful and grateful that my daughter is healthy and all my kids are healthy and happy, and I'm just such in a good place that I welcome any of you who need help with your manifestations to go ahead and email me or reach out to me at any time so I can assist you and I can include you in any of my meditations for manifestations, since all I do now is really manifest consistency of what already is, so, and work on the we. So since I am fully happy with all the manifestations I have had for myself, now it's about the we and not the me. So for you all, if you need my assistance, you can definitely reach out. And I think that's all we have for today. So again, thank you so much, and we appreciate all your likes, comments, and shares. As always, we are incredibly grateful to have you here, and I just want to say how much I love you all, our JIA family, and how proud I am of you. As you, our conscious queen.
Yeah, you guys all know how I feel about you, so.
So I will leave the links to any further information, and if you guys would like to donate as well, we will leave all of that in the description below. Yes. We love you all. Have a wonderful Master Manifestation Magic Monday, and happy JIA Day, the first ever. Woohoo! We love you all so much. Go out there and spread your joy.